Ibio, one of the most popular and active YouTubers in the Skibidi toilet community. Lately, you've probably heard this name a lot, seen hashtags, the fight for truth, and protests against invis. But allow me to open your eyes. What you mistake for heroism is not a fight for justice, as Ibio calls it in every one of his videos. No, it's agony. Today, we're going to talk about Ibio. I didn't want to make a separate video about this, but I'm running out of patience with everything happening in Skibidi toilet. And I won't hold back, because right now, before your eyes, you are not witnessing the salvation of a fandom, but the tantrum of a child who is having his favorite toy taken away. A toy that brought him thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. But let's start from the very beginning. Who even is Ibio, really? What remains of him if you strip away everything connected to Skibidi toilet? What kind of creator is left standing? If you take a moment to scroll through his channel and look at the content he was producing before the Skibidi toilet wave hit, you might be genuinely shocked. His earlier uploads are essentially a swamp of Elsa Gate-style videos aimed at very young children. The kind of manipulative, low-effort productions that exploit popular characters in the most primitive and trashy way possible. And the most frustrating part isn't even that the content is low quality or reeks of content farm desperation. It's that it wasn't even his own work to begin with. Long before he positioned himself as the main insider of the Skibidi universe, Ibio was simply another online scavenger. He stole other people's animations, repackaged them, and slapped his voice on top as if that somehow made them his own. His only real skill was the survival instinct of a parasite, the ability to latch on to someone more successful and feed off their work. His sudden attachment to Mr. Boom had nothing to do with passion for the Skibidi toilet project or any real interest in the lore. It was an act of desperation. When he found himself cornered, overwhelmed by copyright strikes from the very content farm channels he had provoked through his plagiarism, he began publicly begging for help in his YouTube community posts. And it was precisely at this moment of panic that his close relationship with Mr. Boom began. Judging by the fact that Ibio's channel is still alive, despite the mountain of stolen content he once published, it's clear that Mr. Boom stepped in and helped shield him from those strikes. In return, Ibio transformed into a sort of guard dog, a loyal servant who fiercely defends his benefactor and survives on whatever crumbs of attention or insider status fall from the master's table. Rather than growing into an independent creator, he doubled down on dependency, building his entire presence on borrowed influence and manufactured proximity to someone else's success. Think about it for a moment. Why do people even watch him? What exactly is the appeal? What original piece of content has he ever produced that wasn't simply recycled from someone else? The truth is uncomfortable but obvious. Ibio has never created anything of his own. He is not a creator. He is merely a retransmitter, a loudspeaker that echoes information obtained from others. His career is built entirely on one primitive formula, taking private messages from Mr. Boom, filled with insider details and early spoilers, and reading them aloud as if he were uncovering some profound mysteries of the universe. He has never once produced a real analysis video, never attempted to dive deeply into the lore, never built cohesive theories the way ISO or Fordell consistently do. Those people bring thought, creativity, and interpretation to the table. Ibio brings nothing. He is an empty vessel, a hollow shell masking the absence of any real talent or effort. And now, when the never-ending stream of spoilers has been cut off, when Dafook is locked behind an invis contract and no longer feeding leaks to anyone, just take a look at how Ibio behaves. His reaction isn't dignified, logical, or principled. It's childish. He throws tantrums like a kid who just discovered that the magical cow he was milking for free has suddenly stopped giving milk. His anger isn't moral outrage, it's panic. It's the desperate flailing of a man whose illegal street kiosk is being crushed by a bulldozer, and he has no backup plan. He understands perfectly well that without Dafook Boom and the Skibidi Toilet series, he won't be able to sit on Alexi's shoulders anymore and mindlessly read AI-generated text to keep his channel alive. And speaking of that, the most insulting part is not even his dependence on others, but how he treats you, his own audience. Have you actually looked at the quality of his videos? It's not just laziness, it's disrespect. It's a slap in the face to every viewer who gives him even a minute of attention. Just listen to the audio.
Atención la situación en torno a Boom, Invis y el futuro de Skibidi Toilet.
It's a cheap, hastily generated neural network voice that hasn't even been checked for errors. He doesn't proofread, doesn't adjust, doesn't polish. He simply throws paragraphs of text into an AI generator and, without bothering to listen, dumps the results straight onto his channel. Add to that the stolen thumbnails, the complete absence of editing, the meaningless filler clips, and you get a product that screams, "I don't care about my viewers." Meanwhile, other YouTubers whose first language isn't English, creators like Cameraman or Moby, actually respect their audience. They spend hours rewriting their scripts manually, adjusting phrasing, making sure the translation sounds natural and pleasant to listen to. They put in work. But Ibio? He spends a few seconds, presses a button, and expects applause. Why do you allow him to feed you this garbage? He considers you idiots who will swallow any crap with a clickbait title. You really think he's standing up for the fuck? You honestly believe he's some kind of principled warrior fighting against Invis? Please, don't make me laugh. It's almost adorable how naive that sounds. Let's rewind the tape and remember the moment when Invis posted that infamous, controversial video that shook the entire community. What did our so-called hero do? Did he defend his friend, da fuck boom? Did he show loyalty, critical thinking, or at least caution? No, he was the very first one to sprint over and start licking Invis's boots, praising them without hesitation. Out of pure inertia, out of habit, he sided with the people actively harming the person he pretends to support. Why did he do it? The answer is painfully simple. He doesn't understand anything. He is not used to reflecting, analyzing, or questioning. Thinking is foreign to him. He's only accustomed to acting on impulse, reacting, not reasoning. He keeps performing the same tired role of a guard dog, doing whatever he thinks will keep him safe, even if he doesn't know who his master is anymore. It's autopilot, and a very sloppy one. And then, only then, when he noticed the community's outrage, when he saw that blindly supporting Invis wouldn't bring him views, likes, or engagement, he changed his tune. Instantly, without hesitation. One moment he's obediently supporting them, the next moment he's a self-proclaimed rebel fighting the system. Now he's leaking Invis contracts, waving them around as if he's some brave whistleblower exposing corruption. And the funniest part? No one even stops to ask the obvious question. If he's so outraged by these contracts, why did he sign them himself without blinking? Because once again, and I'll repeat this until it sticks, this person is fundamentally incapable of thinking critically. Just like he can't produce content without Mr. Boom's insider information spoon-fed directly to him, he also can't be bothered to read the very contracts he signs. His entire behavior is driven by the same mechanism: mindless reaction, zero understanding, zero depth. And for that same reason, he doesn't actually care about the fate of the series. He doesn't care about da fuck boom, about Skibbity Toilet, or about the community. All he cares about is milking your attention, converting your clicks, your outrage, your curiosity into monetized tantrums in as many languages as possible. And he achieves that through the same sloppy method as always: low-effort, auto-translated text read by miserable neural voices, uploaded with zero effort and maximum greed. And yes, someone might reasonably object, but how are you any different from him? Aren't you also a clickbaiter? That's a fair question, and it deserves a clear, honest answer, because here lies the fundamental, crucial difference. The truth is, every YouTuber, to one degree or another, uses clickbait. That's simply the nature of the platform. Creating engaging thumbnails or intriguing titles isn't some moral crime. It's part of the game, part of how viewers discover new content. And I'm not pretending to be an exception. My point isn't about clickbait at all. The problems I described above have nothing to do with thumbnails or attention-grabbing titles. Those issues don't apply to most YouTubers, and they certainly don't apply to me. Yes, I do use clickbait sometimes, I admit that openly. But in my case, it's a necessary tool, a forced measure to make sure my videos even appear in front of people in the first place. The algorithm demands it. Without that initial hook, without that spark of curiosity, my explanations, my thoughts, my analysis simply wouldn't reach anyone. Clickbait is a key you use once, to open the door so your content can be judged on its actual merit. But what the algorithm doesn't force anyone to do is create content with soulless AI voices that sound like they were generated in 5 seconds. The algorithm does not demand that Ibio release videos in 15 languages using broken translations he doesn't even review. That is not the algorithm's fault. That is disrespect and laziness. And the algorithm certainly does not require Ibio to serve Mr. Boom like some obedient servant. It does not push him to build his entire identity around someone else's work. Those choices are entirely his. And only his. I acknowledge my flaws. They are real, and I'm not hiding them. I can be loud, dramatic, sometimes too harsh, sometimes too provocative. I'm aware of that. But the existence of my flaws does not magically invalidate anything I've said about Ibio. My self-awareness does not cancel out his complete lack of it. And admitting my own shortcomings does not make the truth about his behavior any less accurate or any less important. Ibio 75 is not an opinion leader. He's not a visionary, not a critic, not a creator with a unique voice. He is a content farm in human form, a biological algorithm designed to recycle, repurpose, and regurgitate whatever brings him the most profit. He feeds off the talent of others the same way automated channels feed off trending keywords. He is not here to build anything. He is here to extract value until the source runs dry. He isn't trying to save the series, protect the creator, or strengthen the community. He isn't fighting for truth, justice, or artistic integrity. He is fighting for one thing and one thing only: the survival of his bank account. His every outburst, every leak, every emotional video is nothing more than an attempt to cling to relevance while standing on the collapsing ruins of a series loved by millions. He doesn't grieve the downfall, he monetizes it. Ask yourself honestly, do you want to be the fuel that keeps this machine of hypocrisy running? Do you truly want to support someone who tosses away principles the moment they stop being profitable? Someone who publicly screams one thing and privately does the opposite. Someone who sells outrage for views, praise for engagement, and loyalty for a couple thousand likes, only to later pretend none of it happened, deleting comments like erasing evidence. Stop feeding illusions. Stop turning parasites into heroes just because they shout the loudest. The Skibidi Toilet series deserves better than being used as marketing bait by someone who has never contributed to it in any meaningful way. You deserve better than being treated like a statistic on a monetization chart. And as for Ibio, he deserves exactly what he fears most: oblivion, the quiet, empty void that swallows people whose relevance depended entirely on someone else's genius. And that oblivion will come, not because of hate, not because of criticism, but because there is nothing of substance in him strong enough to cast a shadow. A shadow fades when the object disappears, and Ibio has never had anything of his own to stand on. Don't let yourselves be fooled.